UFC Fight Night Adesanya vs Imavov took place on February 1st at the ANB Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. While the gate number was not released, the total revenue would have been boosted by sponsorships and merchandise sales, not to mention the UFC's broadcasting deal with ESPN, which pulls $300 million a year. But how big of a slice did the fighters take home? International commissions typically do not disclose fighter pay information, so while Venom sponsorship and fight bonuses are released, the purses I'll be showing in this video are just projections based on disclosed earnings from previous events. With that said, let's jump into the first fight.
Every fighter that's under contract, if you want to tell the media what you're paid, that's up to you.
The feature prelim saw featherweight Mohamed Naimov take on tough finalist Kaan Ofli. Throughout the 3-round contest, Naimov displayed superior striking and effectively negated Ofli's clinch attempts. Despite Ofli's efforts to control the fight in close quarters, Naimov maintained dominance at range and in the grappling exchanges. As expected, the judges awarded Naimov the unanimous decision victory, putting him back on track after his first loss with the promotion last year. Ofli, on just his second fight in the UFC, earned $12,000 to show and $4,000 in Venom sponsorship, also known as Fight Week incentive, for a total of $16,000. While Naimov brought in $24,000 to show and $24,000 for the win, $4,500 in sponsorship for $52,500 on the night. Kicking off the main card, Mike Davis clearly wanted the fight on the ground as he pulled guard multiple times against his opponent Farès Ziam in the first round. Davis was unable to keep his opponent down long, and Ziam looked much better on the feet. In the second, Ziam split open Davis's head with a knee, causing him to bleed profusely. But the blood wouldn't even be the most grotesque moment of the round, as on the ground, Davis trapped Ziam's knee, bending it in seemingly impossible angles. He survived, however, and went into the final 5 minutes up 2 rounds to none. Farès would then be the one taking the fight to the ground, racking up control time until the final bell, handing him the round and the decision win. Davis brought in $28,000 to show and $6,000 in Venom sponsorship and took home $34,000. While Ziam made around $51,000 to show for this fight, along with another $51,000 for the win and $6,000 in sponsorship pay, for a total of $108,000. Khabib Nurmagomedov's kicks and spinning attacks gave his opponent Vinicius Oliveira trouble in the first round, but after a wild sequence that saw a headbutt knockdown and flying knee attempt, Oliveira was able to take the fight to the ground and control the last few minutes of the round. In the second, Oliveira's striking looked much improved and the momentum shifted as Nurmagomedov started to show signs of fatigue. Oliveira dominated the striking and ground game in the final round, and while both fighters were gassed by the end, he finished the fight on top and did enough to take the unanimous decision win. With the loss, Nurmagomedov earned $62,000 to show, $6,000 in sponsorship pay, and a $50,000 fight of the night bonus for $118,000 on the night. While Oliveira, who's likely still on his rookie deal, made $14,000 to show and $14,000 for the win, along with $4,000 in Venom sponsorship and his $50,000 bonus for a total of $82,000. In the third fight, a couple of right hands by Sergei Pavlovich were about as much action as we got in the first round of his fight against fellow heavyweight Jairzinho Rozenstruik. The slow pace continued in the second as the referee called for more action midway through the round. A few seconds later, Pavlovich caught Rozenstruik with a right hand that sent him down to the canvas, but didn't appear to do much damage. However, it did allow Sergei to take top position for the rest of the round. In the final frame, Rozenstruik landed likely his best combination of the fight, but a takedown by Pavlovich allowed him to ride out most of the round and take the unanimous decision victory. Just 3 fights ago, Rozenstruik earned a disclosed purse of $130,000 at UFC Charlotte. Likely on a new contract, he would have made closer to $155,000 for this fight, with $11,000 in sponsorship pay, giving him a total of $166,000. As for the winner Sergei Pavlovich, he took in $125,000 to show and $125,000 for the win, along with $6,000 in Venom sponsorship, totaling a $256,000 paycheck. In the co-main event, Michael Venom Page went up a weight class to take on undefeated middleweight Shara Magomedov. Magomedov's output was largely neutralized by Page's movement throughout the fight, and he was unable to make clean connections with his kicks and punches. Page bounced around in his trademark stance and used his reach and speed advantage to stay ahead on the striking numbers. In the final round, Magomedov upped the pace and landed a few hard blows towards the end of the fight, but it was too little too late as MVP would go on to take a clear unanimous decision victory. Magomedov, on the second fight of his new contract, earned around $48,000 to show, along with $4,500 in Venom sponsorship, for a total of $52,500. MVP took home $125,000 for his efforts, along with $125,000 for the win, $4,000 in sponsorship, and a total of $254,000 on the night. Only about 7% of the people watching this video are subscribers, so if you're enjoying the content and want to keep up with all the latest videos, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And finally, the main event of the evening, number 2 ranked Israel Adesanya looked to be in tip-top shape in the first round of his middleweight bout against number 5 Nassourdine Imavov. Firing off kicks at range and showing good takedown defense to keep the fight on the feet, Adesanya avoided his opponent's most damaging blows, apart from a solid uppercut by Imavov near the end of the round. However, half a minute into the second, Imavov dropped Izzy with an overhand right, followed up by a left uppercut, and finished off the former champ with ground and pound to take the knockout victory. As for Adesanya, according to John Nash on the Hey Not The Face podcast, his latest contract reportedly guarantees a purse of $4 to $5 million per fight. However, most UFC contracts stipulate a higher rate of pay for championship fights. We really don't know what Adesanya's standard rate is since he hasn't fought a non-championship fight in nearly 6 years. But we do know that prior to his current contract, he was earning a bit less at $3.5 million per fight. While it's likely not the exact number, it's the closest thing I have to assign as an estimated purse for this fight. He'd also earned $16,000 in Venom sponsorship, giving him an estimated total of $3,516,000. And as for the winner, Nassourdine Imavov, he's 2 fights removed from a disclosed $63,000 at UFC Louisville, and while we don't know for sure, I believe he was up for a new contract in the meantime, putting him at an estimated $90,000 to show, along with $90,000 for the win, and a 25% bump as a main event bonus, as well as $11,000 in sponsorship, and a well-deserved $50,000 performance of the night bonus, taking his total on the night to $298,500. Any corrections to the numbers I've shown will be listed in a pinned comment below. That's all for this episode. As always, thanks for watching. See you next week for UFC 312, Du Plessis vs Strickland 2.